you heard of facial acupuncture? Well, this cosmetic treatment is an extension of traditional acupuncture that's said to naturally help make the skin look younger, smoother, and all around healthier, addressing the signs of aging and the skin's overall health. More on that in a later video when I'm ready for those needles. Today, I'm starting with the basics. Today, we have a very, very interesting topic that's just going to get right to the point.
I like that.
Okay, we're gonna see where we're going with this. It might just have you feeling like a human pincushion, and it's called
Acupuncture.
Welcome my guest, Tracy Piper, friend and health expert. She is the author of the Piper Protocol, and she runs the Piper Center for Wellness in New York. And I'm so happy to have her here so we could talk about this, because for years I've always watched people getting that done and it just looks painful and all that, but it's my understanding it's the exact opposite. Tracy, can you give us a complete overview of what acupuncture is all about?
Well, acupuncture is from the Chinese, their way of their medical system, and it's over 7,000 years old, if not even more. I studied the traditional Chinese medicine. That's the one that everybody's more familiar with. There's five element, but I study TCM. So acupuncture basically is using these fine needles to stimulate the central nervous system, and by stimulating these energy pathways in the body, it actually allows the body to create homeostasis and get the energy flowing in the right direction. So acupuncture believes that if there's pain, if there's stagnation, if things aren't flowing properly in nature, it's all about yin and yang. If it's not flowing the way it's supposed to, you're gonna have pain, you're gonna have spasm, you're gonna have bloating. Things are not gonna be kosher. So it's all about making sure you get balance back into your system, and so the energy is flowing properly, and so is the blood.
So what are the key principles behind of it, and how does it differ from conventional medicine?
It basically works on the energy pathways, and it runs. So we have our blood, and this is our veins and our arteries are running through it. Those are what we call macro circulation. And acupuncture meridians run right with them at the same time, along with the microcirculation of the capillaries and the lymphatic system. So you're basically working on energy in your system and electricity. We are electrical being.
What conditions or ailments in general does acupuncture effectively heal or treat?
Acupuncture treats everything. I know that sounds really broad, but it truly does. Because everything dealing with pain, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain, it's all about energy in your body. So it's all about moving that energy, moving that electricity in your system. Our muscles are what we call our battery packs of energy. And so the fact that these meridians run through different the muscles, fibers, then you can see how we can stimulate. So you'll put a needle in and you'll see how the muscle actually reacts to that needle, reacts to that energy that's just going, whoa, it's like, okay, I'm awake, I'm here, I'm present, I need to move.
And how does it actually move the energy? How do you explain that?
So there are these different points in the body, and at these, it's kind of like junctions. Like say, like you have the garbage man come and they pick up, or the mailman come and they pick up your address and the other person. So look at each house or each address in the post office as an acupuncture point. So it's gonna go from one energy to the next, one point. And so that's allowing the flow to open up. It's called chi and blood. So energy and blood to move simultaneously together in the body.
I've always wanted to get acupuncture done, but I don't think I'm going to do it today. I think I need to do that off camera. But we do have a special guest who's going to get it done, and so we're gonna check that out later. We're gonna see it done in person. Walk me through a process if I decided to come in for acupuncture because I've been having these headaches and nothing else has worked for me.
As soon as you said the word headache, my brain went, oh, liver. So there's certain ailments that we have in our body that they're associated with different organs, specific. Yes, headaches can be other things, but the first thing we look at is the liver, because the liver is the master detoxification organ, and it deals with that energy of headache. So stress, toxins, and so forth. Even if it's a migraine, you still want to look at the liver pathway first, the liver energy pathways first, and then I'll ask you these 10 questions that we have, and then we decipher and kind of narrow down what's going on with your body, because your headaches could be different from my headaches or my father's headaches. So based upon the questions that I'm asking you and your answers will lead me down the right path, kind of like the yellow brick road. Yes.
Are there different types of acupuncture?
Oh yes, there's so many different types. I mean, I'm just studying the Chinese part. A friend of mine, Johad Putilamalik, he recently passed away. He did this one called Sujuk. It's hand acupuncture. And he taught me that, where you can treat your whole entire body through your hands. We have reflex zones in our hands, in our feet. There's Japanese, there's Korean. There's so many different types. There's a Master Tong that he used his own method of acupuncture. And I recently went to California to study Kiko Matsumoto. She's Japanese. Her style is Kiko Matsumoto's style of acupuncture, which is on a whole other level. Very humbling.
What safety considerations should people keep in mind if they're deciding on the acupuncture process?
Must have a licensed acupuncturist. It must. It seems like these little tiny needles, and what harm can they do? We studied for 4 years because you have to know every single point and what size needle can go in those areas. So if I'm going to do gallbladder 21 up here, which is on the top where everybody goes, oh, can you just rub that for me? It's so tight. You want to use a needle that's about an inch, and you don't want to go down. You want to go on a 45-degree angle, because your lungs are right there, and some people's lungs might be even higher. The last thing you want to do is cause a pneumothorax, where you puncture the lungs, and you won't know anything until you take the needle out. So that's why you must go with a licensed acupuncturist, and don't go and buy needles on Amazon and decide you want to do acupuncture on your loved ones, people. Go and see a licensed acupuncturist, because they know exactly where to put the needles and how to put them and the depth of the needles at the same time. I'm a acupuncturist, and I have a master's in acupuncture and herbology, so combined. So it's a master's oriental medicine. So I do herbs and acupuncture at the same time, and I throw in my Caribbean herbs as well.
Wow. So are there common misconceptions about acupuncture? For one, I always thought it would hurt.
Oh yes.
So
I'm a in-between, the Goldilocks method of like, oh, too soft or too hard. I'm just right. I'm right in the middle. So I'm not too soft and I'm not too hard. And that's because when I say that, it's because I want to get the chi. And the chi is the energy. I want to put a needle in, and the energy is the muscle grab. The energy grabs the needle and holds on to, kind of like when a baby holds onto your finger and it won't let go. You want to feel that energy grab that needle and start working and doing what it's supposed to do. So it's not going to hurt. It's going to feel like, okay, maybe a little electrical shock sometimes. Sometimes it just feels like a little pressure. Sometimes you feel nothing. I don't want to feel nothing. I want to make sure that I stimulate the needle to get the energy there, because I want you to feel better. And you can feel better from one acupuncture session, or you might, depending on what's going on with you, you might actually need more sessions.
How much would you say? How much have you done?
Oh gosh. Well, I got my license in 2001, and I see about 8 people a day in my office, 5 days a week.
And how often do people come back to get that done?
Some people come in, depending on what's going on. I really treat a lot of more sports medicine, because that's what I picked up from here in the Virgin Islands. So I treat a lot of issues with backs and shoulders and knees and stuff like that. So they'll come in 1 or 2 or 3 times, depending on what's going on. Sometimes they come in once. I work on them. I'm also a licensed massage therapist. So after the acupuncture, I work on the muscles, and I do stretching and so forth. Sometimes I don't see them again. I'm like, darn, I did that too fast. So
you're talking about sometimes combining other things, holistic.
The holistic approach. I love to combine. Sometimes, people say, oh, but you have all these degrees, you don't know what you want. I'm like, no, because not one thing works for everyone. It's just like not one diet works for everyone. So sometimes you want to need a little bit of acupuncture. It's like cooking. You put a little bit of salt, you put a little bit of pepper, you put a little bit of garlic, a little bit of cilantro, and you know, you make it. So that's how I look at my work. I look at it as I'm cooking. I put a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yes. So I'm guessing you have a lot of success stories.
Yes, I do. And I used to actually do acupuncture where I would turn babies when they were breech. That was actually before I opened up my office. I would go to people's homes and I worked with a doula and a midwife, and babies would be breech, and I would go there and I would do acupuncture to turn the babies so the head will come out the way it's supposed to.
Wow.
So we're about to start doing the NADA protocol, NADA, a National Acupuncture Detoxification Association program. And this was actually started in the 70s with Mutulu Shakur up at Lincoln Hospital. So I just want to give you guys a little history, and we're going to do these 5 needles, okay? So we're going to wipe Mr. Piper's ear. This is my dad. And it's 5 needles that we're going to put into the ear in a specific order. And we're going to start with sympathetic, and that takes you to that fight or flight and gets you into that parasympathetic state of rest, digest, and repair. And then we're going to go with Shenmen, spirit gate. And so this one is going to help deal with issues with the heart. It's going to help with anxiety and calm the mind, help with insomnia. And the kidney is going to deal with the bladder, the lymphatic system, also deal with emotions of fear of success, and also fear of failure. So these are going to do physical and emotional issues as well. We're going to do the liver, which is the master detoxification organ. So we're going to take a deep breath in, Mr. Piper. And exhale, and exhale. And the liver deals with anxiety, frustration, irritability, resentment, anger, depression, frustration. So we're going to deal, again, physical and emotional detoxification with the liver. And last but not least, we're going to do the lung point. And this one, we're going to add in, take a deep breath in and exhale. And the lungs is a sister of the large intestine. So they're sisters, and this is about releasing sadness and grief. And so we're going to we're doing with sympathetic, Shenmen, kidney, liver, and lung. All right, and this is the NADA protocol. We're going to leave these needles in for 30 to 45 minutes, and I'm going to look to see if any of them fall out. And based upon which one falls out tells me which organ is really moving that energy. Yep, they're all secure in there. So how are you feeling, Mr. Piper? Did this hurt at all?
No.
These are sarin needles, they're Japanese needle. They're coated with silicone, and they're much smoother to get into the body. So it's very, very, very thin. Doesn't hurt.
Wow. So thanks, Tracy. And of course, there's a link below to contact Tracy. Be sure to stick around for this next video. Very interesting. Coming up next.